The man has 7 Final Four appearances, 9 Elite 8 appearances, national championship under his belt, 13 Sweet 16 appearances, 20 consecutive NC tournament bids now. And yet all you in the Chris Command Center want to talk about is the fact that he never sent Michigan State pajamas to me. Is that what you're saying?
You lost a bet, Rich, and you got to wear some.
Michigan State from the punt of 2 seasons ago?
That is correct.
What did you say we bet again? What happened?
You have to wear Michigan State gear on the show.
Or
your kids.
And then he said he'd also send some stuff for the kids, and you said you couldn't do that to Coach.
Coach Tom Izzo back here on the show. Is that it? My memory's a little hazy on this, Coach. Not like you don't have other things to do.
That's true. I think your wife was mad about that too. But but more importantly, you guys beat us by 30 this year in basketball in a game. So I'm not sure we didn't make up even on that. I'm embarrassed to have to send you that and even think you should wear it when we got clobbered so bad this year in a game down there. But I still should do that, help your kids, educate them a little bit, and make them feel a little bit of understanding of the world.
You're maybe, and also I think you're a little too hard on yourself, Coach. Come on, now. You're a little too hard on yourself. I mean, you are Michigan State, sir. So you want to send me that stuff? Let's do it. Let's figure this thing out.
All right, we will. We will.
But they've gotten bigger since you. I got to update you on the sizes since we made this bet.
The good thing is you haven't gotten bigger. That's the important thing at this age, at this time in your life.
So what does it mean, 20 straight big dances for you?
Rich, it's really. I laughed because during the year it started to look like that thing was in trouble, and I talked to my team about it finally one day, and I said, it's not about the streak. It's really about each class gets to experience this. But when it was over, I don't know. It's kind of a round number. Why not have that number? It felt like what we all look for in life. I'm sure you look for it in your business, your job. Can you be consistently good at something? Can you be, it doesn't mean you're great at it all the time, but is there some form of consistency? And I think that's what it speaks to more than anything.
Now, I know that coaches, certainly those at your level, don't want to use excuses, but I mean, you had some injuries that you had to deal with this year. I mean, where does this rank in terms of the journey to the NCAA tournament for you throughout the 20, Coach?
I think this was the toughest journey by far because of 2 things. We've had 3 major injuries, a couple other minor ones that lasted 5 weeks. One to Bridges, my star player, and maybe more importantly, the 4 freshmen we played. It was our version of the Fab Five, but they weren't. Bridges was at that level. The rest are going to be at that level someday, but aren't there yet. So it was different. Now we played that brutal schedule earlier, so I got a lot of good excuses. Unfortunately, I get more from you, a Michigan guy, than I do the 550,000 living alums that I have. So it's been an interesting year, Rich. But you know what? Kind of rewarding. Well, now that part of it's over and kind of a new beginning. Freshmen are now sophomores. Little excitement getting in the tournament, and we have played better in our last 10, 12 games in general.
But I mean, do you really get grief from your fan base and from your? I know that sounds like maybe a naive question, but I mean, you've done this long enough, Coach, that you have a track record here.
Well, when Mariucci was here, I want you to know that somehow your name came up. We were talking about you, and I get to see you once in a while,
right,
here and there. But you've had a pretty good run yourself. If things don't go exactly right, or you screw up an interview, do you get any feedback? Any negative feedback?
On occasion, I'll hear it.
Yeah.
I'll hear it.
Mine's a little more public than yours at times, just because of that doggone scoreboard we have. It kind of tells everybody what's going on a regular basis. So, I think this day and age with Twitter, with all the things that go on, everybody gets flack. I mean, Mike Krzyzewski gets flack. Everybody does. It's part of the deal. But in general, I think people have been pretty good. Media's been pretty good. I think people understand a little bit, but they probably understand better than I do if I was to tell the truth. But, yeah, you get some. You always get some.
Tom Izzo, Michigan State head coach, now in his 20th consecutive NCAA tournament, joining me here. So how do you prepare for this? You got a game against very difficult Miami, and then right after that, 2 days later, it does appear one does never know. that you'd have to take on top-seeded Kansas. How do you and your staff prepare for something like this?
Well, I think it was after my second or third NCAA appearance in my first Final Four that I learned from some other guys that have been in it that if you get to be good enough, you have to prepare for the weekend, not for the game. Winning a game doesn't do a lot for you anymore. It's about winning the weekend and coming back and getting to play again. So, we're preparing for the weekend, but I got to admit this is one of the lower seeds we've had. We've had a 10 before. So as a 9 seed, you're playing an 8. And this 8 happens to be a very, very good team that a couple of weeks ago people had them as a 6 or 7 in Miami. They've beaten Duke. They've beaten Carolina. So we got our work cut out. But, we have sprinkled in a few things that Kansas does because it's what we do here. And my staff will have them ready for sure after. But even during the week, some of the things they do that we thought we could sprinkle in, we have. We talk to our team about it and tell them, it's about preparing to win the weekend. But you can't win the second game if you don't win the first game, and the first game is going to be awfully tough.
So then what is the key to winning this thing, cutting down nets, getting as far as you have? What makes it so different coaching style between this and anything else?
I think when you get in the tournament, you have to convince your players that the my bads go out the door. You can't be saying my bad like you can during the regular season. If you have a lot of my bads or even a few too many turnovers, a few too many missed assignments, things that, we know there's going to be slippage, but there can be less slippage in the tournament because you're going home. I think, we played pretty well in the Big Ten tournament. We beat Penn State badly, and then we played Minnesota. It was a 2-point game right down to the wire, but we lost. And so you learn then that now it is one-and-done time. That's the one thing the Big Ten tournament, I think, prepares you a little bit. And you get new life, and you just try to keep telling the guys that, you got to do all the little things. But turnovers, Rich, you're in the sport of football more. Whenever you talk about who wins the Super Bowl, they always talk about the team with the least amount of turnovers. Mm-hmm. It's not that much different in basketball.
Couple more minutes with Tom Izzo, Michigan State head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. And you mentioned the tournament, Big Ten tournament. You and Penn State did move your tip-off back 20 minutes to accommodate Michigan after what happened with their flight on the way to D.C. And so much, obviously, is made of in-state rivalries, Coach, Michigan State, et cetera, et cetera. But when life intervenes, I'm wondering if you can walk me through how that went for you and when you heard about what happened with Coach Beilein and the Wolverines coming to D.C.
Well, to be honest with you, I texted him shortly after. You're right. I mean, there's certain things that intervene. First of all, I consider John a friend. We have a love-hate relationship. Of course, we hate the rivalry, but there's a great deal of respect there, and give them credit because not only did they bounce back, but I think, like sometimes happens in these tournaments, that's the advantage. If you can win a first game, if you can do something, they bounced back in their practice jerseys and won their first game, and I think it propelled them throughout the whole tournament. But listen to the stories. I talked to Derek Walton in between our game and their game when they got finished. He was doing a thing on the set, and he came by, and I said, "Well, what was it like?" One of the assistants there, his dad played here, and he's a good friend of ours, and Saudi Washington, and he was texting our guys and pictures. It was unbelievable, Rich. That's a scary thing. That some of them had their families with them and everything, and. Mm-hmm. And give them credit. Give John credit. They bounced back. He regrouped them that night. Some of them didn't even want to get on a plane the next day. I mean, all those stories are true, and they come back and win it all. So divine intervention, I think, in some ways, but it's good.
Speaking of good friends, Mariucci, did your big dance birth get him a trip to Tulsa? Is he coming to Oklahoma?
He was. He called me yesterday, but he's got a couple things he's got to do, and I said, listen. Just hang on. If we win the first weekend, you can come the second weekend. But he was coming. I just told him that take care of some business at home. He's got, some family matters. He's down in San Diego enjoying the nice life. I told him don't go lay on the beach. There's visual pollution signs there, so don't be getting on the beach. But he's all good. He's still here. He came up for a game, went up to the UP.
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the ski jump.
I know.
Oh,
I
my
watched
God.
some Instagram about ski jumping. There's I got another silly question. There's ski jumping in the UP? There's ski jumping?
Man, when I grew up, it was Wild World of Sports and the
Okay.
thrill of victory and the agony of
That's
defeat.
right.
It was. We took off school for that thing, but it's gone pretty good. But I know. I think he's getting old. He's texting about ski jumping, his grandchild.
That's right.
I said, hey, where's all the good things you used to tweet about? Now he's tweeting about things like that. What happened to football and basketball?
Yeah, he's getting soft.
He is.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. And so, are you taking care of that voice? I mean, a lozenge? What are we? I know
You know what? My voice has actually been pretty good this year. Just when I talk a long time to you,
Okay. All right.
it goes a little crazy, but it's been good. And a little lack of sleep never helps it. But,
This is good. No, this
but
is.
Rich, I love being on the show. I love
having
watching
you.
you. I think you've done a heck of a job.
Thanks,
and
Coach.
Keep up the good work. And hey, the good news is I don't think that we can even meet Michigan until we get to the final. So you can pull for us, pull for them. How's that?
We'll do that, but hey, no, it could be a Michigan State battle for the net cutting down in Kansas City. You never know.
You
We'll
never
see.
know.
We might actually
All right,
have
Rich, we'll stay in touch.
You take care of it. Look, this is like tournament voice, like playoff
that's
beards
great.
in hockey. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to look at this
I
as.
might wear a beard one of these days. That might be a good change for me.
Coach, you take it easy.
See you, Rich.
Thanks, Colin. That's Tom Izzo, Michigan State, here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.